It is no longer a secret that people are having problems in their marriages. This you can see from the number of divorce that is skyrocketing, the number of separation, the number of people complaining about loneliness, the number of single mothers, single fathers, let alone the number of people who remain in marriage but are emotionally disconnected. Let's take, for instance, South Africa. In 2021, they had 18,208 cases of divorce in their court. And it didn't stop there. In 2022, they had 20,106 number of divorce cases at the court. On top of that, 54.7% are coming from Black homes. Now, if that is not a problem, then I do not know what is. Let's go to other African countries. Kenya, for instance, has 4,000. Not so bad, but still it's there. That is in 2021. In 2022, I think it is 5,000 something. For South Sudan, we do not have record. If you go online, you will not find record. We do not have the statistic. And it's understandable. We know where we are coming from. But that does not mean that we do not have issues. We have actually a lot of issues. Considering our context, some years back, around political problems, our fathers were out there fighting. They left mothers at home to take care of the children. People separated and that kind of thing. Now, looking at the current context, we are at peace, right? But most of our children, family members, are in the neighboring countries. Our fathers are in South Sudan and other, like in Juba and other parts of South Sudan, leaving our mothers in the neighboring countries, taking care of our children. Do you think there is no problem? I am sure there is. And if you agree with me, please comment in the section below and let me know what your thoughts are. The fact that we are resilient, the fact that we do not talk about it and we are quiet about it does not mean that divorce is not our thing. In fact, if we do not talk about it now, then it will soon become our thing and probably we are going to be the worst, even worse than South Africa. Okay? Remember, they say that prevention is better than cure. Looking at our context, looking at our history, looking at where we are coming from and where we are going. These are some of the psychological issues that we need to remember and we need not to overlook. These are some of the community issues that we need to start talking about. These are real issues. We are very far from development. For us to develop, it starts with the family. So let's talk about these things. Let me know what your thoughts are. The thing is, when you look at marriage, when you look at people preparing for marriage, when you look at the celebration, hey, our brothers and sisters, Nigerians, they, throw these serious wedding celebrations, online weddings. You look at it and you just think these people will never separate. And then few years down the road, you hear so-and-so is divorcing. AY, for instance. AY is a comedian in Nigeria and a celebrity. He just finished his mansion recently and even showed it to people, beautiful, and we're all happy and all that. Because they had an issue some time back. Their house got burned. Luckily enough, none of them died in the process. After showing us his mansion, we were all excited. We were so happy. I personally even made a comment. I'm like, thank you, sir, for showing us your house. I am motivated and I'm going to work. Then all of a sudden, I see him, putting a statement out that they are ending their 20-year marriage. What is that? Why is it that this beautiful thing, this beautiful gathering, union, that everyone longs to have, when you find single ladies craving and crying and yearning and praying to have their own homes, then all of a sudden it's the ugliest thing at the same time. Why is marriage so beautiful and ugly at the same time? That is what we want to talk about. Hi, my name is Stella Luka. I am so passionate about family, relationship dynamics, and life lessons. Okay. I'm going to give reasons why I think that marriage is suffering. People are suffering silently in their marriage, and there is a lot of divorces happening around us. And you, on the other side, I request that you also put your own reasons if you have some things that I might not be knowing. And then also supplement. Let's discuss about things. Let's see how we can prepare ourselves so that this does not befall us. Where we are going is worse than where we are coming from. All right? To salvage the remaining families that we are having, and then also to protect the future of our next generation. All right? Now, who should we blame about all these things that are happening around the globe? I will tell you something. Now, psychologists have it that the primary needs of a man is respect. I'm going somewhere. At the same time, the primary needs of a woman is love and affection. So what does that tell us? It tells us that for marriage to be healthy, it should be pivoted on these three principles: respect for men and love and affection for women. It sounds like a very simple thing that anyone can just easily do. But the funny thing that people are not able to follow or even sustain it. Question is, why? Let me unpack it further. Number one, lack of marital knowledge. Lack of knowledge. Even the Bible tells us that people perish because of lack of knowledge. We are not schooled about marriage. There is no courses, certificates that you can go and learn. But come to think about it, maybe we should be having, some marriage school or courses before people get married. I like Nigerians. They have this thorough process, that they go through before they finally have their white wedding. I don't know how much we do in other countries, but I know that in my own community, there is always the traditional marriage and then the white marriage. And even the traditional marriage, I don't remember as a person, I was asked to go through a training. I don't even remember any auntie, schooling me about marriage. Let's come back to our community. Even before we talk about other people, let's talk about ourselves. How many people really sincerely go out for marital counseling? Forget about the one we have when we are doing our wedding, like proper marriage counseling, maybe for weeks. I know that some churches in Uganda do. Pentecostal church, Watoto church in Uganda, they do it. They take couples through marital counseling for some period of weeks, I think. And when they are sure that you are ready, that is when they conduct the wedding. And you find that in Uganda, yes, divorce cases are there, but it's not a serious case as it is in other African countries, like, for example, in South Africa. Probably we need to get ideas from this African country. Mozambique, is it Mozambique or Zimbabwe? One of them also have got very good education around family guiding principles. But for us, our South Sudanese, I do not know if we really have, other than the local council courts, I do not know if we have proper culture training us for marriage. So lack of knowledge is one of the biggest things, and you find that people prepare for the wedding more, like family asking for the dowries and all that hassle and all that kind of thing from the side of the groom, and then from the side of the bride there is always preparation of the wedding, how it is going to be, and people have less time to really sit down and understand what it is that they are getting into. So lack of knowledge is one of the biggest problems we have that is affecting marriages leading to divorce. Probably if we are to sit down and just learn, because nobody has the answers for a good marriage. All of us, no one has all the answers. There is no answers that is one size fits all for every marriage. It is not there. The best we can do as human beings is to share, for now, is to share our experiences and to learn from mistakes of others and our own mistakes as well. So before you get married, try to, after the courtship, go ahead to learn and understand from those who have gone through marriages. I normally do not go learn from people who just say. I want to see their lives. I want to see what they have gone through. When you tell me that you had difficult marriage and things like that, I want to know how you were able to resolve it. What did you do to resolve it? So knowing about marriage, learning, understanding, going back to the principles of the Bible. What does it say about marriage? How are you supposed to stay? If we do that, if we try to acquire this knowledge, then probably we will be able to improve on our marriage before we get into. Premarital counseling is very important, because that is where you talk about communication, one of the biggest problems that is affecting us, because by nature we are very selfish. Everybody is concerned about what it is that they want. Nobody cares about what the other one is feeling, how they will think. Nobody cares about that. So during that premarital counseling, you will understand how to communicate to each other. Remember, you're coming from different backgrounds. You grew up in two different homes, and then therefore you will need to know how you will work with another. Marriage is an institution. The same way an organization is, marriage is the same. So if all these have got principles, organization have a structure, then why is it that this particular one that is holding, is the foundation of a nation, why is it that we do not have proper structure for it? So it is important that you sit down, you think about the vision. What is it that you want in this marriage? What are your objectives for this marriage? So many people do not have vision, but for us, me and my husband, we have vision for our marriage. We have vision and mission statement for our marriage. We sat down. At first, we were like fighting and all that kind of thing. We sat down one day. We're like, you know what? We need to go our own ways. But before we decided to go our own ways, we thought of like, okay, so why is it that we really got married? Those questions made us think of what it is that we want to do with our marriage. We were able to segregate our roles and responsibilities in our marriage, and it has helped us so far. When you see my Facebook page, and you see my photos, and you see the smiles that you see right now, those are not pretense. It is genuine. But I will not say that it has always been this nice from the start. We had to sit down. We had to think of what it is that we wanted out of this marriage, restructure the whole thing, and now we have clear vision of where is it we are coming from and where it is that we are going, and it has helped us. So if it has worked for me, it will probably work for you as well. Talking about communication, finances, intimacy, sex, it does not remain the same. This is one thing that people do not know. And because it changes in marriage, that is where cheating starts coming in. Okay? People start getting tired of, showing affection and love to their wives, and they start neglecting their wives. And then the wives start disrespecting them. And then a few years down the road, they become distant and they become disconnected emotionally. And once people are disconnected emotionally, people can never do things together. Some people will remain in that marriage because they have children, or they have sacrificed a lot in that marriage, or maybe they are not financially stable, so they will remain there. But those who are capable of doing their own things, they just opt out. They are either separated or they divorce because they are financially stable, they can do their thing. We have so many. I have friends who are separated from their homes just because they cannot get along. I have friends who have divorced just because they cannot get along. People start taking each other for granted. People relax. They think just because they are now married, now if the story has ended, people can do whatever they think that they do. So premarital counseling is the solution. We sit down, we plan, we think, we organize, we structure before we get into marriage. Another thing is, because people do not prepare for marriage, they do not know what to do with each other. You find these people who are married, but they're living like they are still single. They don't have boundary for the time they were not married, they were single, and the time that they are now married. So they do things they want, the way they want, and they don't care about the repercussion or whatever happens. Another thing that is causing problems in marriage is the fact that marriage has lost its value. People no longer have faith in marriages. Why? Because those ones who marry do not give good example. People marry today, tomorrow they are separated. People marry today, tomorrow they are divorced. So people are no longer even shy about it. Long time, you never hear people, divorce is a taboo. People, especially in African countries, divorce is a taboo. People, and you just keep quiet, you just hide. In fact, when you go back home, I remember people come home and they don't even discuss about it. But today, people are just so open. We are divorcing. How can people take it serious? It does not have value. So people don't prepare for it. People don't even care about it. Nobody cares. People marry and they just live their single life. People marry and they have plan B already. People marry and they have prenuptial. They sign it. It is contractual. So with all that kind of thing, definitely people cannot be committed. There is no commitment. People know that it is a bad thing and it can end anytime, and you don't even stress about it. If it ends, it ends. You get out. Yeah? So those are some of the things that is causing problems. So if people could actually have the objectives as to why is it that they are getting into this thing, maybe they will be committed. It's not about love. Because, love, love ends the first year. Now, commitment, responsibility, determination, loyalty will be the one to carry you. If you do not have that, trust me, you will leave. I don't know how many times I have even divorced in my heart and my mind, but I never really took action. And my husband, the same thing. I remember one time we just sat down and we started laughing. We're like, why did you even get married in the first place? So I was even talking to my husband. I was telling him, maybe we go back to our exes. And then he said, but even if we go back, you think it is easy to start this whole thing again? To me, that was good that we were still talking about it. We were able to talk about it. But there are people who are no longer talking. They are not in talking terms. It has ended. So people don't have the patience. The men have no patience. The women have no patience. Nobody has patience. Everybody is tired. People are stressed. There is a lot of economic distress. That's enough. People are suffering global problems. So nobody cares. And marriage issues are not even just within Africa. Everywhere, the whole world, US, UK, everybody is going through the same thing, and you find the same statement, the same sentiments, like marriage is nothing. Marriage is for sure. Marriage is contractual, that kind of thing. That's number 2. Lack of faith makes people not to commit themselves to marriage. Therefore, they put less effort into reviving it or into even solving the problem. Probably if people are able to sit down and to communicate their own needs. Babes, I'm not feeling okay, if you do like this, you will be able to understand each other. Avoid, listen. The reason why they gave us 2 ears is for us to listen more and talk less. But we find that because we have no faith, the moment there is a small problem, we just know that the problem has come and we pack our bags and we start running away. The third issue is our history. And when I talk of history, I want to bring it down to my own community. I want to bring it down to South Sudan. Now, as I mentioned earlier, our context as a country, years back, our parents didn't stay together because of war. Our fathers went out to fight for our peace that we're enjoying right now, and our mothers were left at home to take care of us. Remember, the boys and the girls were both raised by women who are us right now, who are married or right now in this current time. Okay, but mind you, because it is a woman that raised these men, most of them probably did not gain the male touch. They are not schooled, and they do not know how to be a man, how to be a husband. They did not see their father doing it. So as they grew up, they just grew up like other women also, since they were raised by women, and they expect the women to treat them the way they should have treated the women. So the same craving that women are feeling as South Sudanese is the same feeling that the South Sudanese men are feeling. Why? Because they are brought up by women. So they forgot that they have to take their own responsibility of first loving and showing affection to the woman. As Africans, men run after women. Women do not pursue the men. Even when relationships start, it is the man who goes after the woman. So in that same case, the man should be the head and first treat the woman in that sense. Show them love and show them respect. Automatically, a woman will reciprocate the love by respecting a man. There is something about a woman. Women are stubborn. I am stubborn as well. My husband will tell you the same thing. But as a leader, you should know how to handle me. That's the thing. Okay? When you talk to me, don't just talk as if you are talking to any other woman outside there. Talk to me like you're talking to your wife. Talk to your wife like you are talking to part of you. You see? So because of history, our men do not know how to be the husbands and the household leader. So they do whatever they want to do. Even when they are married, imagine, they do not behave like they are married. Go to the clubs, you will see them. Most of our South Sudanese men who are married, they left their children in the neighboring countries, either Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, whatever, and they are here gallivanting. They are here gallivanting with other single women. You go to the clubs, you find a married big old man is chilling somewhere with a very young girl. What are they doing? There is no way a married man can be doing nothing with a single girl in a club. Your wife is at home. Do you know that some of the South Sudanese men rarely eat at home? They just come home to sleep. And then this same woman, you are expected to comply and service them sexually. Remember, you are angry. You are left here at home. You are handling everything. You're taking care of children. You are actually like a senior maid in the man's house. Why? Because he doesn't know what to do with you. For him, he knows that people are supposed to marry, but he does not know exactly what he should do with you. So history made our men not to understand their role perfectly. And that is a problem in our own society. Not only that, because the women raised the girls alone, they did not see how their mothers treat their fathers. So they don't also know how to be a wife. You find this woman talking to her husband like he's talking to any charcoal seller outside there, like you're talking to a market person. The question is, even I don't even know how people are giving. Because for you to have that feeling to be intimate, you need to be kind and humble in a way. But you find these women that are charged, South Sudanese women, we are stubborn because we don't know how to handle a man. We have never seen our mamas doing it because fathers were not in the house. So that is also another problem. Yeah. Now that was before. It was due to political issues. Now let us come to current. Same cycle is continuing. Because of economic and social issues, we have parted with our family members. Majority of our fathers are working out of South Sudan or within South Sudan, but with families in the neighboring countries. Again, the mothers who are us now, we are not staying with our husband, so our children don't see a life example of how a mother and a father are supposed to relate to each other. That is a problem. So if we do not talk about it now, also our own children in the next generation will continue to do the same. It is important that we start talking about it. Now, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. You will find so many of my podcasts there about parenting, about family, because I'm very, very passionate about family. If we are going to build this nation together, then these are some of the things that we need to start talking about. Let us leverage the social media, the technology to our own advantage. I would really love to see that as so many people are putting out postcards the way I do to develop our community. So subscribe to my channel at Stella Luka 8589, and then also you can follow me on my Facebook page. I have the professional page, I have my Facebook page. I would love it that you follow me on my Facebook page at Stella Luka. Okay, let's continue. Let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to our history and how it has impacted our own marriages in the current time as South Sudanese or any other country that must have gone through a similar situation that South Sudanese have gone through. That is how history has affected our marriage. The fourth one is our culture. I love this one because I want to use my own community. I am a Madi by tribe from Nimule, and I want to use our own community. Culture. Our culture is not good. Our culture has always supported our men. Why? Because men are the head of households. And I don't disagree with that. I am so happy that, and I even want to be headed by a man. I love that. That's why I got married. But I don't want to be headed by a man who is just being a man and is not sensible enough to do their own thing. Because culture has given them right to be the head, they have taken advantage of that. Some men are very egocentric. In my community, men are so egocentric. You cannot school them. You cannot tell them otherwise. They do things the way they want to do. Our men. Correct me if I'm wrong. Our men are known for drinking. Men are known for happening. If there are people who are having fun, even right now in Juba, go to Munuki, those meeting joints, go to Gudele, those meeting joints, you will find our guys there. Very good. Men are supposed to go out to, recuperate, to come down from the stress of the world, but remain responsible, please. Remember to service your wife emotionally, show them love and show them care. It is very rare to even hear that, oh, I am taking my wife on a trip. It's very rare. In fact, they'll be like, now that you're married, we are too old for this kind of thing. They tell you, Valentine is not even our thing. Hey, God, culture. Our men are so egocentric. They do not know their role, They just think because they are men, so that is final. It gives them right to marry as many wives as possible, to do as they want. And I am not apologetic when I say this. Our Madi men, I am sorry I'm saying this thing. If you're honest with yourself, because you will say the same, our Madi girls are very stubborn and they are disrespectful and all that. But the truth is, culture has taken up our guys like so seriously. It is even worse when a Madi marries a Madi, because they just take you for granted. For them, they assume that being a man is just, being arrogant, hanging out, sleeping around, and things like. Not all, but there are some Madi men who have not yet grown up to now. They still behave like senior six. These men do not care. You find them in clubs. You find them in meeting joints with single ladies hovering around them. Yeah, and they neglect the needs of their wives. And then it becomes what? It becomes a problem, because they no longer pay attention to their wives. They expect to be respected, but they cannot reciprocate that respect, that love from their wives. They deprive their wife of their affection, of their love. For them, they think being a donor, supplying home with food, paying school fees is enough. A Madi man, it is very rare for them to be all cuddly and lovey-lovey. That happens at the initial part of the marriage. After that is done, imagine they're not there anymore. Comment down here if I am wrong. So culture has affected our marriages in a way as well. The fifth one is lack of leadership. Oh God. Lack of leadership. We have a lot of authoritative leaders as husbands. These are the men who beat people, abuse people emotionally, and then at the same time you say this woman is not respectful. You are the same person that is cheating out there. You do not want people to talk about. You live as if you are not married. You are married and you are single at the same time. You don't even know what to do with your own marriage. You don't even know your children sometimes. What you know is to have sex at night, eat. Not all, please, pardon me. Not every man is a bad man. But there are some men out there who have neglected their role as leaders in their home. They do not communicate. They don't even say it is that they are feeling bad about something. Instead, they use violence to communicate that. If you are affected, if you find that your wife is not respecting you, tell them, honey, I'm not happy with the way you are doing. Be the head. It doesn't matter what is happening with that woman. Be the head. Lead. Be confident in yourself, in your way. Have your own culture, your strategy. So, as a man, please take your responsibility in leading your household. And as a woman, remember, you are not the head, but you are the neck. So you need to also know your place, know your boundaries, lead beside your husband. Leadership in marriage should always be with humility, should always be leading by serving. You need to be a good servant to lead people forward. Number 6 is power dynamics. Power dynamics, this is basically in terms of who is the breadwinner. You find that the men who have made it in life, those who have, God has blessed them with some money and properties and resources, become so difficult to communicate with. These are the people who live their life the way they please. They live for the public, show off what they have and all that kind of thing without really taking your responsibility at home. You are going to be seen as somebody depending on how it is that you treat your wife, you treat your family. You are responsible enough to ensure that your family, your home is in order, because that's what the Bible says. The Bible says the man should be the head, just like Christ is the head of the church. So if you are doing contrary, you are using your power to bully your wife, your family members, you are not doing anything right. You are a waste in the society. Imagine, and you are the reason why marriages are having problems, because the youth are following you. Instead of you using your resources to the advantage of the community, you are using it the other way, so you are a waste. So become responsible enough, become the man of the house, and lead your home right. We talked about men misusing their resources without taking responsibility of them. And then on the other, to flip the other card, women also who have something. South Sudanese women are very stubborn. When we have money, we are very stubborn. We do not care. So we need to both work with our men to ensure that we put our house in order. Number 7, we don't want this video to take very long. Involvement of the third party. And when I talk about third party, I'm talking of family members, I'm talking of in-laws, I'm talking of friends at workplace, I'm talking of football, I'm talking of work. That's the third party. The people who discuss their families out there. Please, the Bible says, never wash your linen in public. Try to resolve your problem. If you are to involve anyone, I always suggest the first place to go to is church. Why? Because the church is God, is where God resides. Surprisingly, the church is not safe either. So as you go to church, know that you are going to a hospital. And then in hospitals, some sick people do not respond to treatment easily. Stop running home, involving people. So be wise in who. All I'm saying is that you should be wise in the kind of people that you share your marital affairs with, so that when you share your information, you are sharing in order to get solution, but not just sharing to gossip about it. Do not gossip about your wife, do not gossip about your husband to the outsiders. It demeans your union, and it comes with issues that will eventually drive you guys apart, and the marriage will definitely end. Learn to listen. If your wife, your husband is telling you something, don't listen to respond, to fight back. Listen to understand what it is. Sometimes people communicate in their own ways. Someone will be whining, someone will be complaining about things, but look at the, behind that issue, whatever it is that you're seeing. What is exactly the problem? What is this person trying to say? That's the only way we are going to salvage some of the marriages that are left. Marriage is a difficult thing. It's a complicated thing. It's so beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's a very beautiful union, but only to the wise. Because when you are unwise, you cannot handle marriage. So, whoever that has watched up to this time, I don't take your time for granted. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe on my YouTube channel for more podcasts as this, and follow me on my Facebook. I wish you all the best. I sincerely hope that people will begin to look for information, will begin to look for their own ways and culture to resolve their own issues. Don't look for it. The answers lies within you. If you are a Christian, the answers lies within the Bible. Pray over your children, pray over your household, pray over your husbands. Oh God, respect your husbands, okay? Treat them that they matter. Put them at that place. Outside there, your bosses, yeah, that's fine. But when you come home, accord them the respect that and honor that they deserve. It has worked for me, and I hope that you will do your best to ensure that you resolve whatever issues, differences that you have. I always end by saying that if anyone feels like they can trust me enough to share with me, to call me, to find me, go on my, messenger, and send me a message. I will get back in touch with you. It might take me some time, I might delay, but I will get in touch with you. Thank you so much. Until then, bye-bye.